the Comedy Crossword Podcast.
Hey, welcome to One Down, the Comedy Crossword Podcast. My name is Brendan Eyre. I'm joined, as always, by Greg Warren. Greg, what's going on?
Hey, Brendan, how you doing, man?
Not good. Not good, Greg. That's how I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to give me a little more?
Yeah, I'll give you a little more. For the listeners, we operate on an honor system here. We don't really use a hard schedule, but we generally say, we'll do it around this. We'll record around this time. And so we had last night, Greg had to do it late Sunday night. We usually record on Sunday. Greg had to do late Sunday night. I didn't hear from him all day, so I assumed that was in place. And I said, you know, for the good of the podcast, I'm a bit tired, but for the good of the podcast, I know it'll keep me up all night. But for the good of the podcast, I'll have a nice strong cup of coffee, so I'm ready to go. I drink the coffee. I then text Greg, so what time were you thinking? And he says, actually, we got to go early tomorrow morning. So I was just up all night, Greg. No sleep.
Okay, but you would have been up all night anyways.
But with the podcast recorded, and it would have been a sacrifice for the good of the podcast.
Right. I'm sorry.
That makes it worse. I thought you were going to argue. Just a genuine apology is not what I was looking for.
I'm sorry. I was wrong, and you were right, and I shouldn't have done it that way, man. I did a lot of things wrong. Okay.
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. It's an unexpected reaction, but genuine apology. And it works. It does work because now I feel bad for even giving you a hard time. I would have probably stayed up all night anyway. You know, I had fun. I was looking at stuff on the internet. You know, I watch a lot of woodworking on YouTube. I don't have any tools, but I like to watch it, you know.
My dad's a woodworker. He's pretty good, man.
I ought to see if I can apprentice under him. I am looking for a new career.
Yeah, he'd give you a job. Yeah, he'd give you a job. Yeah.
I do have to shout out a couple of listeners, Greg. Jimmy Mason, somebody else, I can't remember the name, but Jimmy Mason on Instagram wrote to me and said, hey, man, that falling rock zone thing you did on the podcast last week should be a joke. And I hadn't even thought of that. I was at Hilarities this weekend. I turned that into a joke, and it's definitely going to be something. So thank you, Jimmy Mason, and the other person who messaged me about it. I can't remember their name, but we appreciate when you guys reach out to us. Let's jump right into Monday.
I didn't know we were doing that now, man.
What's that?
Patting ourselves on the back for our jokes. I didn't know that was the thing we were doing, but okay.
No, Jimmy Mason patted my back.
Yeah,
are you implying that's a fake name?
You used Jimmy Mason, who may or may not be a real person, may or may not be an Instagram account that you created. You use this guy to talk about brag about your new joke.
Look, Greg. If hypothetically I created a Jimmy Mason Instagram account, went back with 8 years full of family pictures, I think that trouble would be worth being allowed to lie.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, a lie is a lie, man. I just want to give a shout out to Marty Martowski. He said my comedy special was really great. And
you can check him out on MySpace. He also is on LinkedIn, so check out Marty Martowski. Monday, August 17th. This was an Alan Massengill and an Andrea Carla Michaels. The theme was beachfront. Greg, which was kind of cool because the front of several words were beach related. So we had waves, hello, or several phrases: waves, hello, surf the net, shells out cash, and palms cards. So kind of a double meaning on beachfront, which I thought was pretty good for a Monday.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I think I actually recognized it.
Nice
Yeah,
work.
I think I did. 3 down. That is a feature of a Las Vegas bandit, and that's one arm. And of course, they're referring to slot machines, right?
Yes,
The one-armed bandits. I wonder if there's ever been a criminal in Las Vegas that happened to have one arm. And I imagine he could go incognito.
Sure, because they're going to say the one-armed bandit struck
Like,
again.
yeah, man.
Sure.
Those things will get you.
Yeah,
No, it was Louis, the guy. He's been robbing liquor stores all across the strip. Yeah,
Louis, is that new machine at the MGM?
No, I'm telling you, there's this guy named Louis, and he only has one arm, and he's a criminal.
I gotta play that thing. That sounds fantastic.
You know what? Just let him go. There's no way we're going to be able to catch him.
Yeah,
Nobody.
Yeah. No, and also knowing Las Vegas and having spent some time in Las Vegas, there's definitely a one-armed criminal in Las Vegas.
Yeah. They got everything. Yeah.
They've got a criminal missing every limb there is in Las Vegas. 17 across, Greg, in blank of flowers. That's, of course, in lieu of flowers.
Right.
And that's often or almost exclusively used for memorial service. Someone will say, in lieu of flowers, please consider a donation to, blank this good cause. Do you think anyone ever does anything fun? You know what I mean? Like, instead of in lieu of the flowers, please donate to the ALS Foundation. Do you think anyone ever says, like, in lieu of flowers, please show up drunk? Our uncle would have really loved that. That's what he liked.
Yeah, that. Yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah, in lieu of flowers, I'd like everybody to go play skee ball this afternoon.
yeah. In lieu of, our great uncle Charles was a renowned pervert. In lieu of flowers, no one wear pants.
Yeah, man. You could probably start that. I mean, I think you got a lot of time on this earth left, but I mean, you could be one of the first guys to do it.
I don't know.
I think both of us should say go karting.
Yeah,
I mean,
in lieu of flowers,
something that both of us really enjoy, and I think everybody should just go karting.
Yeah, the problem for us is there's going to be a lot of people that go, yeah, I mean, I was skipping it and going go karting anyway.
That's true. Yeah. Nobody's coming to mind. It's not gonna 65 across. Greek Peak in Thessaly. That is Ossa. That's Ossa, Brendan. And I think I'm going to put that in the Hall of Fame, man. I'm going to make a move right here, and I'm going to put that in the Bonefish Grill most often used crossword words Hall of Fame, and there we go. How about that?
I agree with that. What I would like to propose a section of the Hall of Fame, a wing, if you will,
sure,
for Mediterranean mountains.
Yeah.
Because they also use they do the one in Italy,
Etna?
Yeah, they Etna all the time. Etna,
Yeah.
Etna, and also there's one other one they use. So I think we've got to have a little Mediterranean mountain wing.
Okay. But you're with me on this, right? You see,
Yeah,
you see,
100%, 100%.
Okay,
It's coming up all the time. It's the only reason I've heard of this mountain.
Me too, man.
Crosswords.
I guess in effect, it has taught me a few things. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, 33 across, extremes of the earth, poles. And, Greg, that's a stereotype, man. Those guys are just like everyone
Brendan,
else.
I see where you're going here, right? And I'm going to cut you off. They're talking about like the North Pole and the South Pole.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Good clue.
Yeah. And I feel like I did that in the nick of time before you said something that's going to get us in trouble.
Well, I thought the constructors were getting in trouble. Extremes, come on. I mean, these are people.
No, they're not people. As a matter of fact, he's talking about the North Pole.
Greg,
and the
they
South
are
Pole.
people. Come on. That's harsh.
16 across, garlic flavored mayonnaise. That's aioli. And Brendan, I do not care for any mayonnaise, and it's that's a trick. I think I learned this trick in my maybe late 20s or something. I one thing I can do is on the menu is spot mayonnaise real quick and be like, hey guys, no mayonnaise, but I had to find out the hard way a couple of times that aioli is just a euphemism for mayonnaise, man. It took me a while to. I can spot aioli now at 51, just a week shy of 52. I can spot it just as quick as I can spot mayonnaise. But in the early days, they tricked me a couple of times.
Well, I was relieved because I agree. Well, I like mayonnaise, so it's not as big of an issue for me. But I do agree, and I was relieved to see someone lay the facts bare in front of us in the clue. It's garlic flavored mayonnaise. That's what it is. You can call it whatever you want, but it's garlic mayo.
Yeah, it's garlic mayo. Why? You ever see the movie Coming to America, Brendan?
Yes, yeah, great movie.
One of my favorite movies, and I cannot see the word aioli without thinking of the king when his wife's giving him the business going, Aeolian, please.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones. Aeolian, please.
Yeah. 42 across, illusionist Geller, and that's Yuri. He was the famous Israeli. He was an illusionist, but that's not what he claimed to be. He did claim to actually have psychic powers and psychic paranormal abilities, and certain people didn't like that. And there's this guy that I love, James Randi, the amazing Randi, and he's a great magician in his own right. And but he had a big beef with any magician that claimed to be doing anything other than tricks. He was a skeptic. He didn't like, because Uri Geller claimed he really had these powers to bend spoons and that sort of thing. Whereas it would have been fine with the amazing Randi if he just said, you don't know how I do this,
Right.
But he claimed to have these special powers. And Johnny Carson was another guy who he didn't like people messing around with him. And when Uri Geller came on the Carson show, Carson hired the amazing Randi to make sure, because Geller claimed he had these skills. They weren't magic. They weren't tricks. He claimed he had these skills. And Carson hired the amazing Randi to come in and set everything up in a way that Geller would not be able to do his tricks. That if he truly had psychic paranormal abilities, he'd be able to do it. But if they were actually magic tricks, he wouldn't. And you can watch it on YouTube. It's one of the most awkward Carson moments ever, and Carson's loving it. But Geller just keeps saying, I don't feel the power at the moment. And he couldn't do anything because Randy knew how he did all his tricks. And so he told Johnny exactly what to do, exactly what not to let him do to pull the tricks off. And it's so awkward. It's on YouTube and it's great.
Oh, it sounds painful, man.
Well, but the guy was a fraud, The guy was.
Don't you think the Amazing Randy sort of broke a code by revealing another guy's tricks?
No, he never revealed the tricks. He didn't say how they were done. But his problem was
he told Carson.
What? No, he didn't even tell him. He just stopped it. He told him how to stop it. Because the thing is, the code is you don't tell magicians tricks, but there's also a code among magicians. You don't say you're actually doing magic. You don't convince people that stuff exists.
Is that a code, or did you just make that up?
That was, according to Amazing Randy, it is. I don't quite know.
All right.
Amazing Randy's got a standing $1 million prize on the line for anyone that can exhibit any type of paranormal or psychic ability, and no one's ever won it. But
I'm going for that money.
Yeah. Now, real quick before we go to Tuesday, Greg, 64 across. Blank Lily.
Oh, is this
That's a Sago Lily. That is the not a Monday clue of the week. I've never heard of a Sago Lily.
I thought you were going to give this. I don't know what that kazoo is. Yeah.
The kazoo is the kazoo. Originally, it had some vagueness in its uses. It's now the not a Monday clue of the week.
So it's a very difficult clue.
It's a clue that belongs later in the week.
I got it. So yeah, it belongs on a Friday or Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, this one, Sago Lily, I'd say SEGO. Now it's pretty gettable from the downs, but come on, man. That's a Wednesday at the earliest. Did you know about a Sago Lily?
Still don't know about a Sago Lily.
No.
I know Eli Lily, gilded lily, I think is a term, isn't it?
Sure, gilded lily, water lily.
Yeah, that would be
my grandma Lily.
Yeah, she's very nice lady.
Yeah.
Might
not play on a national scale, but
yeah. Brendan's blank grandma Lily.
Yeah.
Brendan's. I got it. It's Brendan.
Yeah. Tuesday, August 18th. This was friend of the podcast, Olivia Framke. You can follow her on Twitter at LIVIENNA. She's had some nice conversations with us. And a cool little theme. The theme was the 19th Amendment.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, and it was kind of a interesting... I think it was a little bit different from your normal Tuesday theme, and it was sort of telling this historical story through several clues connected to the 19th Amendment, or several answers, where you had women's suffrage, you had the Constitution, you had Alice Paul, you had Tennessee, and so the 19th Amendment was what granted women the right to vote. Tennessee was the last the 36th state to ratify the amendment, which is what makes it official. But cool theme, I thought.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't have known about it. I mean, I knew that it was a thing, obviously, but I don't think I would have known that we were coming up on the anniversary. Because I was out walking and saw like a poster in somebody's yard. About the anniversary of women's suffrage. So I immediately kind of zoned in on this. So, I mean, that's fair. That's fair, right? Whatever we happen to see in our universe that week, if it does aid you in solving the puzzle, you can't help it, right?
Yeah, that's how you get knowledge. It's not like you looked it up. Yeah, and I didn't even know it was the anniversary. I didn't even realize that. I just thought it was a cool theme. So I'm an idiot.
53 across, measure fully ratified on 8/18/1920, Brendan.
Yep, seems like the tables have turned, and I am the one who has not noticed something this week. So
You're the dummy.
I'm the
Dummy.
What do we say about name calling?
We're not in favor of it, right? Are we encourage it?
We never really made a hard and fast policy, so nothing. We said nothing about it, so it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. I'm the dummy. I am the dummy. 20 down, coin in an arcade. That's token. Greg, you want to tell them the greatest arcade feat ever accomplished?
Yep, I will. Yeah, I will. We were in Myrtle Beach 2 years ago, Brendan and I, and it's the go-kart track is right across from a comedy club. I think we've covered that on this podcast a couple of times. And we've talked about our friend Lexi, who is Lexi's going into the 8th grade. She probably has already started the 8th grade, I'm guessing. And Lexi is she's our best friend, man. We go-karting with her after the show pretty much every night, okay?
Wait, we should mention not just some 8th grader we met. Her parents do own the club.
Lexi's Lexi Emanuel, her parents own the comedy club. So
right.
So Lexi always goes across the street with us to go karting, and then Saturday during the day we said she could bring some friends, right? And go karting. Now the go-kart, I think it was Carly and Claire, I think, came with us. Okay. So we all went across and we go-karted. And then inside the go-kart track, they have an arcade. And it's basically like a sort of a Chuck E. Cheese situation, but more adult or more teen oriented. But you got to get tickets is what I'm saying. And there's skee ball. There's a million different games. And there's this one game, the crane game, and they had this giant thing. It was like a barrel, I guess is the best way to explain it. And the barrel, I think you got 5,000 or 10,000 tickets. 10,000 tickets for getting the barrel. And it just is sort of one of those things like it's impossible. Nobody gets the barrel. Nobody gets 10,000 tickets. And Brendan started getting hot. Like he kept getting close. And I mean, there was a crowd gathering around. And then, and we were, let's just say we were loud. We're 2 comedians and 3 middle school girls. We were pretty loud, and we sort of, we caused a ruckus. And Brendan got the $10,000 barrel in the crane, and we went crazy. We went nuts. We caused a scene, and we walked up to that counter. And pretty much, I can't even remember what they all bought, but they bought all kinds of stuff.
Here was the issue. First of all, I'm a claw machine man. I always have been. I'm good with the claw
best
machine.
I've ever seen at it.
So
my friend Mark Poston's pretty good, but I think you're the best I've ever seen.
So this was clearly a thing that nobody wins. It was set off to the side. When we brought the thing up to the ticket booth, they didn't even know what to do with it.
They didn't. They go, who does this guy think he is? Yuri Geller?
Yeah, yeah. And then, so we're with these 3, at the time, 11-year-old girls or whatever. And so they start going. So, we go, of course, because Greg and I don't really care. We go, here's 10,000 tickets for you, and then
we had probably about 15 to 20,000 based on the other stuff we won.
On top of that, all the other stuff we had. So we've got about 18,000 tickets. And these 3 11-year-old girls, they start going. So we give it all to them, and they start going. They take about 3 minutes, and then they go, "Okay, I'll take one of those plastic spider rings."
Yeah,
it's two tickets.
Sucker.
It's 2 tickets. So
yeah.
So me and Gray had to go, "No, you don't understand. We've got 18,000. Look up on the top shelves, okay?
Yeah.
You're in the big leagues now. You can get a pool float, a Nerf gun if you want. This isn't.
I think that's what I think we got a pool float and a Nerf gun of some type.
We got some fake snakes.
We got snakes. Yeah,
it was big time. But at first they had no concept concept of what life was like when you were on the 18,000 ticket level. They were trying to get two ticket items. We'd be there for 36 hours.
6 weeks, the way they were going. They were getting candy for a while. Like, get the big stuff. You got to get 2 or 3 big things, and then we'll fill it in with candy. You know?
Right. Yeah.
That was a big moment. I was very proud of you, man. I was proud to be your
you.
friend that day, man. It was one of the best things I've ever seen.
It's the best thing I've ever done, really, to date.
Easily the best thing you've ever done.
Yeah.
Easily. 26 across, Cul-de-blank. Brendan, that is cul-de-sac. It's not cold-a-hamburger. It's not cold-a-folder. It's not cold-a-ice cream. It is actually the Monday clue of the week.
Couldn't agree more. And coming on a Tuesday, love it. Monday clue of the week on a Tuesday, love that. There is no other call anything. Called the Frank, none of that. So 47 down, complete DVD collection, maybe box or complete DVD collection, maybe. And the answer was box set. Now, Greg, I saw a guy. I was at Hilarities this past weekend in Cleveland, great club, and everyone there says hello to you, by the way. And,
good. They all were just remarking about your joke that guy convinced you to do this weekend, right?
Yeah, a lot of them. I wanted to shout them out. They were just saying how great I was all around, and but no, this reminded me. So my buddy Rand Barnacle, great comic out of Cincinnati, works at Go Bananas, where you actually started comedy, I think, or more or less, right?
It was one of the starts. Yeah,
one of the starts. Rand was in town, so I took him to this really cool thrift store where they got all these like cool Cleveland T-shirts and stuff like that. He likes that kind of thing. And Greg, the complete DVD collection reminded me there was this guy in there that was just in heaven. He had on a cassette player Walkman. With do you remember like the old style Walkman headphones with the red cushions on the ear? Like it was a black headphones, but they had the red cushions,
Kinda.
And he had on this 80s windbreaker, and this guy was going to town on the VHS tapes. I mean, this guy, they hadn't sold this many VHS tapes in 30 years. This guy was just dancing to his music, picking out old VHS at Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's
a great film.
I mean, this guy, it was stuck in time. It was amazing. It was great. I was so happy that he had found his spot.
And where are you going with this? And he said that falling rock joke that you did was just genius or whatever. Is that?
He took off his headphones, looked at me, and said, this can't be real. Are you the falling rock guy?
2 down, blank Quimby of children's literature, Ramona. Brendan, she was a brat from what I remember, right?
She caused some trouble, if I recall.
A lot of trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. I think there was an actual a novel called Ramona the Brat.
Yeah, she was a troublemaker. I was trying to remember because I mix her up with Matilda, and Matilda was a great young lady.
Man. You're talking about Matilda was film, wasn't she?
Well, no, Matilda was a classic Roald Dahl book. Yes, they made a movie out of it, but the book, I'm a man who sticks to literature, Greg.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, wasn't that girl? I think I did like comedy shows, and in New York with Matilda, the girl that played Matilda.
Yes. Mara Wilson.
Mara
She does
Wilson.
She does comedy.
She does some stand up. Yeah. Nice girl.
She's very funny, actually. Very funny.
Yeah. I liked her. Yeah.
She was just on Josh Gondelman's podcast, I believe.
Yeah, excellent. But you guys should check that out. They play games, right?
Right. 45 across, computer key usually hit with the left pinky. That's tab. Greg, if you think for 1 second I have a level of typing ability that allows my pinkies to get involved, you are insane. I think I pressed the tab key with my elbow. I'm looking at my computer right now and imagining my pinkies hitting anything, and it's just no chance.
Well, the thing is, you're saying you're not a very good typist, and that causes you to hit the tab key with something other than your left pinky. I'm like an excellent typist, and I try to add a little flair. I go tongue for the. It's a little show offy, but I go tongue for the tab key.
No, there's nothing wrong with hot dogging it a little bit.
I show off when I'm in the steno pool. I like to get a little wild, man.
Well, I'm actually a quick typist, but I just never was taught. I never learned, so it was all on my own. So it's mostly, I guess, the first 3 fingers of each hand. I just have figured out my own methodology, which is wrong. They don't teach typing in school like they used to.
They did when I was in school, and my mom made me take it in high school, and I sort of was like, come on. And God, like everything else, I realized my mother did it for a purpose, and it was. I'm so glad she made me take typing, and I was pretty good. And I'll tell you why I think I was pretty good is because from playing the clarinet. Actually, I started the clarinet when I was like in 4th grade, and it's a very similar thing. You're reading music, you're hitting something with your fingers,
right?
And I'm grateful. I don't think I'm terribly fast. I do have the tongue thing, and it sets me apart from, a lot of the other typists in the steno pool.
And that's the thing. A lot of typing competitions are speed and accuracy, but I've seen you involved in several.
I get style points, man.
Yeah,
I get style points.
I've seen you involved in several freestyle typing competitions, and those are the ones I love. And you've got, you're doing the tab with your tongue. I've seen you backspace after a 360. I've seen you do a 360 backspace, and that's one of your that's a signature Warren move. And I think that won you the 2014 Tallahassee Open, if I recall.
Yeah. It was a lot of cash involved in that one too.
Wednesday, August 19th. This was a Brandon copy. The theme was 2-part answers along the outer edge of the puzzle.
Oh, yeah, man.
Pretty neat, actually. So each consecutive answer shared a word. In other words, going around the puzzle, in a clockwise motion, it was lifeboat, boat show, show down, down play.
We don't have to do them all.
So on.
Come on, man.
Greg, do you think I don't know that? As you said that, I was saying, and so on. And so on, going forward. Now, this has wasted more time.
But sometimes what you do is you go, and so on, and then you read the rest of them.
No, I've never said it. That's what you think a person does. They say, and so on, which I'll now do. Etc. Which, let me tell you what the etc. encompasses.
That's why this is a very loose this is a departure here, but it reminds me of, I've always thought it'd be funny if when somebody like swears in copy, they write like ampersand, sign, percent sign,
asterisk,
exclamation point. I always thought it would be funny if somebody would do that, but also have the swear word within those characters. So it's like, hey man, this sort of defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do here.
Or do the wingdings or whatever you call it, and then in parentheses write the swear word.
Hey, Steve, the whole reason we do those is so we don't say them.
Well, the people aren't going to know if I don't tell them, I want to give credit, Greg, where credit is due.
Okay.
For 17 across. Now we often nitpick on this puzzle on these type of clues. 17 across was Puma competitor, and that you get stuff in the New York Times crossword puzzle where it's Hertz competitor, and the answer is Carl's Pretty Good Rentals, and it's just not a competitor. And the answer to 17 across Puma competitor was Fila. And I think in this day and age, that is spot on. Those are two
they go head to head, man. They are. I bet you they're neck and neck, man.
Neck and neck. They're even these days have moved into a similar type of shoe, kind of a chunky streetwear style of shoe. They are.
God,
I mean, they
start talking about shoes.
They literally.
If you guys don't know, Brendan's real into tennis shoes. He wastes a lot of his family's money on shoes. He has a Instagram blog or something about it. I don't know.
I don't do it anymore. This was crazy. I don't know. I have no idea who said this or who told them. I was doing promo for the show on for my shows at Hilarious. I had a radio call in. And the guy says, now, I hear if comedy doesn't work out for you, you've got a future in reviewing tennis shoes. And I go, who told you that? Why are you? And also, comedy is working out for me.
Yeah. I think those are both. A lot of people see those as equal value art forms.
Both worthless.
63 across, conveyance that may be carved. That's a canoe, Brendan.
Yes.
And just yesterday, I was in a canoe on the Current River in the Ozarks in Missouri with my dad and my brother. Yeah.
Oh, nice. How was that?
It was a good time, man. It was a really good time. We had fun.
How long did you paddle?
It was about a 4.5 hour trip.
Wow.
We did about 4.5 hours, and it was actually went really quick. The current was going pretty well, and we only stopped like 3 times, really. Back when I was in college, we would stop 80 times, and we'd be really drunk.
Sure.
But sure. It was Missouri has beautiful rivers. Like you could see to the bottom of the river. It was clear.
I love that.
Saw some turtles, saw some fish. It was a good time. Whenever I see the word canoe, I think of my friend John Drexler. We were at this fraternity party. It was like a summer rush party or something, and it was at my friend's lake house, and his dad was there. And we were I think we were like sophomores or something like that, and everybody was down at the beach, and we came up to the house to get some beer or something out of the fridge, and his dad was there, and I knew his dad. It was Mr. Williams, and we were like trying to be adults, but that age where you're not really an adult yet, and we were trying to. And I think we were a little drunk too, and we were trying to talk to Mr. Williams. He's a real nice guy, but there was like an awkward pause in the conversation, and it was one of those places where they had an actual a canoe, like an old. This clue is about. It's like like an old canoe, like as a decorative piece in their.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's like this pause, and the three of me, John Drexler, and Mike Hickenbotham are sitting there, and there's this pause, and Drexler goes, he points up at the ceiling, and he goes, "Old Canoe." and we went down there, and me and Hickenbotham were like, "What are you doing, man?" it was an old canoe. Yeah, I know, you idiot.
I do know that feeling though when you're young, but you're coming into adulthood and you're trying to sort of like when you're drunk or whatever, you're trying to sort of make straight face conversation with an older guy, and you're like, "Ah, man, I don't know what this is. Oh, there's a canoe, old canoe."
Yeah, he pointed up at it. Yeah. Old canoe.
Yeah.
Yes, John, that is an old canoe.
Yeah. Good eye, John. I went whitewater rafting when I was in college. I went whitewater rafting, and I'll tell you what the guides on the whitewater rafting trips do not like. Is they are not a fan of any time you hit the slightest rapid, you and your three friends screaming, "White water!" and intentionally falling out of the boat.
What? You guys are idiots, man.
That guy frowned on. He said, "You've got to stop falling out of the boat. This could be dangerous."
Yeah.
And we thought it was the funniest thing in the world to every time we hit white water, you scream it out and fall out of the boat. And the guy, it was the worst guide trip of his life.
God, I hate you guys on his behalf right now.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, 70 across. This is just interesting. This is not funny. 69 with 69 across, advantage in sports, and that's a home game. Now, Greg, this is really fascinating. They've done studies, and I don't really know how they, I'd have to read them again. I read them a long time ago, but I don't know how they controlled for these other elements. But what they found is the entirety of home field advantage, it has nothing to do with being riled up by the crowd. It has nothing to do with getting to stay in your own house that night rather than traveling. It is entirely due to the referees and umpires being subconsciously biased by the crowd. The whole home field advantage is that the referees and umpires tend to give calls to the home team to please the crowd.
I don't buy it.
I did scientific studies, Greg. I'm not kidding you. The whole home field advantage is based on that.
I'll take a look. It's fascinating. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. And I don't remember how they controlled for the other aspects in the studies, but it makes sense. I mean, if you're an umpire, you don't like to get booed just as much as anyone else. Now, you think you're being fair, but the back of your mind is kind of giving a little break.
Okay. I'll take it under consideration. I'll take a look at it. 61 down, 1815 novel of romantic misunderstandings. That novel is Emma. Brendan, have you read it?
Maybe in high school. I don't really know. I think that falls under the category of My Namesake, of course. It's sort of a Jane Eyre type book.
Yeah.
Not exactly my favorite period of literature.
I don't think I read it. I will tell you, I was involved in a romantic misunderstanding recently. There's this girl this girl that I thought was my girlfriend, and she thought that I was just some guy that had seen her at Starbucks a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's common, and I don't blame you for that. Yeah. I've had that many times.
She said hi. Brendan, I'm not going to say lasciviously, but it wasn't just hi, okay?
Right. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I had that same exact thing when I was in elementary school with Paula Abdul.
Is that right?
Yeah, I thought we were dating, and
yeah. And
turned
she
out,
thought, yeah.
turned out
She's the cold-hearted snake.
yeah. Turned out
Snake.
turned out that poster stared at everyone with those same sultry eyes. We
are running way late,
all right,
man.
Okay, all right. Let's move on then. Thursday, August 20th. This was a Grant Thackeray. While we're at it, Greg, how'd you do this week?
Let's see. I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This Thursday enraged me. It was my own fault, but it enraged. I missed it by one word. pH scale. I just couldn't get. I did not get Friday. I did get Saturday, and I missed Sunday. Sunday was more of a. I didn't get it, but it was more of a run out of a time thing. I think
you were out on the river. You were canoeing. That's.
I thought I might have had a shot. I'm not saying I would have got it, but so I went 4 for 7, which for me is passable. If you know,
it's
like
fine, especially with a rushed Sunday.
Getting the Saturday, made me feel like I wasn't complete garbage. And did you go 7 for 7?
No, I classic shortsy faked on the Sunday, 1 letter off, classic shortsy fake, and I'll give it to you when we get there. But
okay.
I was kicking myself because it was supremely gettable for me, and I just locked into an answer and when I shouldn't have. But Thursday, the theme was basically based on the children or the young adult novel A Wrinkle in Time. Neat little theme because I do think it helped you once you understood it. But it was 3 clues that contained the word time. But as soon as you got to the T in time was spelled in a square. So, in other words, for instance, they would give you an answer would be sentimental value instead of sentimental value, and then above the T was an I, above the E was an M. So time was in a square. So, in other words, making a wrinkle in time. So also they did that with What I Meant Was, and they did that with Mortimer Mouse. So I like this theme because it did aid you once you understood it. It helped you solve, because as soon as you got to the T, I knew I'm going to put time in here, and that helped.
I think this is one of the best themes I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was because it was because it did help you. It was a little tricky. It was gettable, but it was a little tricky. And then the theme, A Wrinkle in Time, is just spot on. It's a wrinkle. You got to you jump up a little bit. I thought it was maybe the best theme I've ever seen.
See, I actually felt that way. I felt that way about Sunday, but we'll get there. Now, a little nitpick here on Thursday, Greg. I want to get because you know me, I can be persnickety, so I want your opinion. 32 across, relatives of violas, and that was celli, celli.
Nobody says it. Nobody
exactly.
Nobody says, and I think they probably say cellos.
They say cellos. Everyone says cellos. Now I understand by the dictionary, celli is probably the plural. It's probably an alternate plural of cello, but nobody says that.
Yeah.
It's just. I don't like those kind of clues.
And they would probably say the cello section.
Yeah, they say the cello section, or I picked up a load of cellos, or I stole a truck full of cellos. I'm trying to unload them.
I don't know.
My name is Brendan Eyre. You can get at me on Instagram if you're looking to buy 78 cellos.
This is what I was. This is what I was afraid of when you spent time in Cleveland. That you're gonna reconnect with your, derelict friends who traffic in stolen musical instruments, and I was afraid you were going to get back into that, and obviously you have.
Well, don't drive a cello truck through the wrong neighborhood. That's what I always say.
Jeez, I really wish. 43 across. Why blank? Thou promised such a beautiful day. A comma, a shack. It's why didst thou promise such a beautiful day? And I guess Shaq said this. I don't know if he said this on the basketball court or if he said it in when Shaq did it. I'm guessing this was part of his rap album.
Shakespeare, Greg. Shakespeare. It's not Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, it changes it. You got something?
61 down, basic bio subject. That's RNA. Greg, I must have been in below basic bio because we never quite got around to RNA. We mostly just looked at the inside of frogs. There was no RNA.
I think there may be some RNA in those frogs. I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't bring it up. They didn't even bring up the names of what we were looking at.
It's a double helix structure, I think.
It was mostly just a butcher class, as far as I could tell.
And I'm going to make up for that. I feel like you made me feel like a real jerk on that Shaq clue, Brendan. So I'm going to go to 62 down, loosey goosey. And the answer is LAX. And again, I've got a problem with this clue, Brendan, because I lived in Los Angeles and I spent a lot of time at that airport, and it was not loosey goosey at all. It was very stringent. I would say that TSA probably has more regulations at LAX than they do. It's certainly more than Burbank or
lax. Greg, lax as in relaxed, not LAX, the airport.
Oh, so that's kind of like that Shaq thing, huh?
Pretty much exactly the same, yes.
Gotcha.
Much like also the joke I did earlier with polls. The old one down, pretending we don't understand an answer joke.
The funny thing about this podcast is that every now and then we don't understand the answer.
Yeah. 40 across, men's blank, legal term. That's mens rea, R-E-A. And that's Latin for guilty mind. It actually it comes from the phrase, the act is not culpable unless the mind is guilty. In other words, you have to be intending to commit a crime. And they don't stick to this, man, because you know how many times I've tried to use, and honestly tried to use, I thought for sure I could park there, and they don't care. They don't care. They give you a ticket, and I go mens rea, man, mens rea. I thought that I didn't know the sign was obscured by a tree. Don't you know about mens rea? And the meter maid just goes on her way. She doesn't know about mens rea. It's ridiculous.
Do they call them meter maids still?
They probably don't. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, man. That sounds like some sort of a.
Well, they got to have some name because they're not official police officers. They don't have a gun. If you don't get a gun, you're not legit.
All right.
Maybe they're maybe they're parking enforcement. I don't know.
Yeah, 3 down, with 20 across. Balance regulator, and the answer is inner ear. And Brendan, I got to say on that one for myself personally, thank God it's not your outer ear, or I would be stumbling all over the place. If anybody's seen my right ear. It's what they call a cauliflower ear, and it doesn't look good. And I would be bumping into walls. I'll tell you that.
I feel exactly the opposite. I think it looks very cool. It proves you have a storied history in combat sports, and I like the look. I think a cauliflower ear looks good on you.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to rock it through the next three, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We just I don't know why, but we're 55 minutes or something
because we're good friends. That's
we haven't
why,
got to
Greg.
the Friday, and I'm guessing it's because Brendan just rambled on about a bunch of stuff.
It's because we're good friends and we love to chat. Now, Friday, August 21st, this was the big dog himself, Alex Eaton Salners.
Oh!
Fridays are generally themeless. This had a light theme. It was
difficulty.
St. Basil's Cathedral, and there were just two. That was a two-part answer, and then you had two answers connected to that: red square and onion dome. So it's kind of a little bit of a theme. 15
I
across.
thought it was a theme.
Yeah, it's a theme. It is a theme.
Man, I got beat on the top. I didn't know St. Basil's Cathedral was, that was bad. I kept trying to throw basilica in there.
Yeah, I could see that. Yes, once you get a few of the BAS, yeah, that makes sense. 15 across, Paul Blank.
BAS, we don't make the car, we make the car faster. Wasn't that those people? Or that's BASF, maybe?
Right. 15 across, Paul Blank, pioneer in graph theory, Erdos. Do you know what he pioneered, Greg?
No, I don't.
So his theory was, because they'd be at meetings and they'd try and show the graphs, and he had this theory, what if we put it up on an easel?
That is not.
Yeah,
no,
he said,
no.
we'll put it up on an easel. Everyone in the boardroom will be able to see it. And they said, this guy is a pioneer.
Yeah.
That is a heck of a theory, Paul. We're going to use easels until PowerPoint comes along.
Right.
Erdos, you are the man.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and I'll take your word for it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
37 across, company whose headquarters were the world's tallest building for over 25 years, Sears. That's, of course, the Sears Tower in Chicago. I think maybe Sears just got a little complacent because they had the biggest building and stopped focusing on selling merchandise. I think that's kind of what happened to Sears, Brendan, because they're not that healthy of a business. I don't know. I don't think they're doing that well.
They're not. Now, I would go you one step further. I don't even think they got complacent. I think they internally, and this was private, obviously, they're not going to tell their stockholders, but I think internally they started considering themselves a world's tallest building company. Yeah. So,
hey, Chuck, I got to tell you, I was looking at some of our clothing line, and they look to be about 20 years behind the times. Should we take a look into that, or should we maybe upgrade?
Get your mind off the clothes. They're building a tower in Dubai that's going to top us, and we've got to figure out the solution.
I think that stop it, Steve. Shut your mouth. We've got the tools. Okay, we've got tools.
Yeah. 62 across, Greg. Imported European wheels.
Yeah.
This is the one down clue of the week. Edams, the wheels of cheese. It's a classic misdirect. Very hard to get, but I think it makes perfect sense. So I have no problem with it.
I think it's a good one. the only thing is like, do you bring in European regular wheels as the misdirect? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
sure.
I knew people import European wheels.
Well, I think the first of all, I'm sure they do.
Cars. Are they talking about cars?
They're talking about cars because I was thinking like
so they're
Audis.
selling the fake of cars and they're going with cheese.
Yes.
I think it was good. I got to tell you, I mean, I think 49 Across Island Locale Kitchen is just as good.
A double for Saunders, baby, because I actually had that one first as the clue of the week, and then I changed it. I changed it to that. So two clues of the week for
nice job, Saunders.
I've got more, but I think we've got to run.
The Notorious
on
AES is. One more thing on Friday, real quick. 33 down, one not to beat. Dead horse. I'm surprised PETA has let this saying survive. But honestly, Brendan, you shouldn't be beating live horses either.
The saying should actually be the only horse it's okay to beat is a dead one.
Because
that's weird behavior, but it's not really harmful.
It's not harmful. It's disrespectful.
A bit, yeah. But don't beat any horses.
Yeah, don't beat horses. Don't beat anything, to be honest.
Well, you can beat eggs.
Oh, boy. Let's go to Saturday. Sorry that I tried to shove that last clue in there.
This was a Trenton Charleston, themeless. 4 across, Greg. Performer for whom a San Diego stadium was named. That's Shamu.
Yeah.
Now, I know Shamu does tricks and all that, but I just feel like performer is not quite the right word. You know, more like kidnapped fish for whom a San Diego stadium was named. Like, he's not a performer. He's not a what's his name?
Uri Geller?
He's not a Liberace. You know what I mean? He's a whale.
Okay, I guess, man. I mean, I think you were bragging about doing Cleveland Hilarities this week, which is a big club and it's a great club, but I guarantee Shamu has performed in front of way more people than you.
Oh, yeah.
Probably gotten bigger laughs.
Well, but they've done a thing like, how Gallagher's brother tours as Gallagher 2, know? I mean, there's 14 Shamus out there, so it's hard to say if you're getting the real deal. Now, this is interesting. Do you know where the second SeaWorld was established in San Diego in like 68 or something, 60, maybe 64 even? Do you know where the second SeaWorld in the world was?
San Antonio?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Just the worst place for a SeaWorld. They wanted to expand. At the time, they wanted to expand east, and they thought it was an ideal location between Pittsburgh and Detroit. And it was. It was a huge hit, but it was also a huge, hindrance because you just had all these animals you had to find somewhere to put in the wintertime.
I mean, another huge hindrance to SeaWorld was the documentary Blackfish, right? I mean, it's sort of...
Well, that eventually kind of took them down a bit. But there was a SeaWorld in Cleveland when I was growing up. It didn't close until the whole kind of... There was an amusement park across the lake from it, and the whole thing closed.
4 down relative of a tie in music. That's a slur. And that, Brendan, so from a clarinet standpoint, if you're going from one note to another, instead of going ta, you go da ha. You just sort of go, yeah, right. You kind of just go right from one to the next. Okay. They don't really separate. and I learned that in fourth grade band, and it was bad because originally what happened is that I played the first note. And I said, if any of you guys think you got a problem with me, and then I played the second note, and they were like, "Well, this kid is around too much drinking." I think,
yeah. This guy's drunk. First chair clarinet is drunk right now. Yeah, that's not good. 48 across, another little nitpick, Greg, and I don't know how you feel about this. Great deal, and that's scad. And I guess this is fine, but I have literally never heard that used in the singular.
It's never in the singular. It's scads, yeah.
Scad sounds just like I don't know, like a mean that you scad, like a scab, like it's kind of I don't know. It's just sort of a workaround that I did not enjoy. But other than that, good Saturday puzzle. Greg hammered it home. We got to move on to Sunday, just for time purposes. Us, we could talk all day about.
And we apologize to the listeners. We haven't been. We didn't give the back half of the puzzles their fair due this week, and it was probably because Brendan was running his mouth earlier in the podcast.
Yeah, maybe. Sunday, August 23rd. This was a Barbara Lynn, very cool theme. I thought the title was Musical Interlude. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti were added into 7 answers, changing common phrases to other phrases. In other words, Amazing Grace, they added do and making it Amazing Dog Race. Organ donation, they added me, and it made organ domination. So I thought that was a fantastic theme, because not only were you adding these things, but they also created phrases that made sense with kind of clever little clues for them. So very, very, very cool construction.
And I thought it was really cool too. I thought it was really, really cool. And I didn't even get through all of it. I kind of ran out of time, and I probably would not have gotten this puzzle. I got 80% of it or whatever, and I got some of those. And I learned. I didn't know. I thought it was so, not soul. It's do, re, mi, fa, sol, sol. So I learned that.
I learned that also from an earlier crossword puzzle. I always just thought it was so. And
yeah,
I think it is pronounced so, but I learned that from an earlier crossword puzzle, I believe.
So I feel grateful for that. And I will tell you guys, though, if any of you are going to watch The Amazing Dog Race, it's a terrible reality show. It's it's just... There's no dialogue, and honestly, they take Pete is going to get involved here. They take advantage of these dogs, and they just get them together, and they show them like they give them a scent of like Paris, and then a scent of somewhere in Germany, and then Australia, and then they just go, and it's not a good show. It's just not. Yeah.
No, very few of them make it to the destination.
None of them do, Brendan.
A lot of them just sit down right when it starts. The thing is unwatchable, really. You got guys trying to fix it by standing on the side of the road with treats.
Bacon.
Yeah. Now I succumbed, man, to a classic textbook shortsy fake, Greg. And for those of you that don't know, a shortsy fake, it's a noun. It's when you're certain that you are wrong in one place when in fact you are wrong somewhere else. And I was convinced I had something wrong in the 85 across area where basketball player in old slang, that was cager. Yeah. I thought I must have had something wrong there. Turned out in the the central north section, I had Nutra, N-U-T-R, as in Nutrigrain bar, and Nagiri, N-A-G-I-R-E.
Oh, you had an A?
Yes, I just
How do you not know? Those are two things that I've eaten before. I don't know.
I have too, and I just thought, Nutrigrain bar. That's how I pronounced it. I was so certain that I didn't even consider going back to look at it, and
that's a classic shortsy fake, man. And and I've been a victim, and I could see where I would do that as well. Nutrigrain bars, Brendan, those things. I mean, they fooled me for probably about a 6-month period where I thought I was eating a healthy. Those things, there's no way those things can be good for you, man. They're real. It's like having a piece of pie, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Most of those kind of bars aren't great for you. Quest bars are okay. There's a few ones that are fine, but most of them aren't great. Now, I was gonna nitpick because I assumed cager meant street ball player, because that's they're often surrounded by fences and stuff. So
I think they're talking about the net. Is it?
No, they're not. I looked it up. Basketball originally was played inside a cage because so this was you're talking early 1900s.
Dr. Naismith?
Yeah, it was because the original rules were lacrosse style rules that when the ball went out of bounds, first guy to get it had possession, and so they were just diving into spectators and stuff. So they put up a cage, which later became nets around the whole court.
Wow.
And that you would find that up until the 30s, apparently. So I have no beef with this. This is a legitimate term, but it was interesting. I had no idea that was the case.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. 29 across, Greg. Bronze that's not winning any awards. And that's fake tan. And I'll tell you this right now. Apparently, Barbara Lynn does not follow the professional bodybuilding circuit. Because you cannot win an award without a fake tan.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are orange. Those guys are look like Oompa Loompas. It's a big part of the industry is a fake tan. Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of bodybuilding competitions, Brendan, but I'll take your word for it. My friend Jimmy Dore, a funny comedian and a good friend of mine, a political pundit now, I think, as much as a comedian. Jimmy, I don't know if he ever put this in his act, but sometimes he said, the guy I really don't think that I could ever be friends with is the guy that is proud of his tan.
Yeah, that's funny. I was at the beach. I was at the beach with some friends on Friday. And there was one of those guys that was doing the he's in his chair. He's got the reflective thing that just extra burns your face, know? And he was just clearly every 15 minutes turning with the sun in his chair, turning to face just a pro level tanner, those guys where it's like, hey, this is bad for you, man. Like,
what are you talking about?
Yeah. 56 across. A little trivia for you, Greg. William, who wrote Shrek, and this is Shrek with an exclamation point. So it's not the movie. It's actually
the musical.
No, I thought it was the musical. It was actually the original children's book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the original children's book, and his name was Steig, William Steig. Now, trivia for you: who was originally cast as the voice of Shrek? I'll give you a clue. It is not.
I don't want a clue.
Okay.
I don't want a clue. Stop giving me clues, man.
All right.
It's patronizing. You just go ahead and tell everybody I'm stupid.
You called me a dummy 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. And I had the fortitude to say it. Dummy. You're a dummy, okay?
All right.
I didn't have to try
no clues then. I'm not giving you any clues.
This is hard without a clue.
I will give you a clue.
I think it was Paul Lind.
Paul Lind?
Yeah.
No.
Rip Torn.
It was not Rip Torn.
Rip Taylor. Rip Taylor.
No, it was not Rip Taylor.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Nailed it. No, here's the clue. It was someone who is very different. It would have been a very different movie than if Mike Myers had eventually gotten the part like he did. Although
you tell me it wouldn't have been a different movie if Paul Lynde was that?
No, that's true. But although both of these men are most well known for being on the same television program.
Starsky and Hutch.
No, okay, it was Chris Farley. Chris Farley was originally Shrek, and then unfortunately he died. And it's pretty cool. You can find YouTube clips of the original screen test with Eddie Murphy and Chris Farley doing Shrek and the Donkey, and it's really interesting because it would have been a totally different vibe. Totally different vibe. It would have been great, but totally different vibe. Unfortunately, he passed away, and the role went to Mike Myers, and Mike Myers kind of was cool enough to be like, okay, I'll do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to try and be like Chris Farley. I'm going to do it. It's going to be a totally different thing. But I think that's going to be one down. The Comedy Crossword podcast for today. Thank you guys so much for continuing to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, One Down Podcast. Thank you for listening. Do us a favor. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the podcast. That helps. Review the podcast. Take a minute, less than a minute. Write a little review if you enjoy the podcast and rate it. All that stuff helps.
40 seconds is what I'm asking for.
Yeah, 40 seconds. Give us 31 seconds. Just write in good. That would be fine. Greg, anything to plug?
Brendan's got this falling rock joke that's just hilarious, and people are writing in from all over the world to talk about it. So you guys might want to check it out.
All right. Goodbye.
One Down is hosted by Greg Warren and Brendan Eyre, produced and edited by John Baldwin. Our theme song is written and performed by Henry Phillips. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcast.
One Down, the Comedy Crossword Podcast.